Hello, everyone, and good morning. I'm so excited to introduce Annette Bau to you today. She's a CFP practitioner and the host of Millionaire Insider on YouTube and the founder of millionaireseries.com. She founded the Millionaire Insider Academy, a performance mastermind for advisors, entrepreneurs, and women with results including increases of revenue of up to 775%, referrals up to 1,220%, and new assets of up to $80 million. As an advisor and a strategist for over 30 years to the top 1.2% of millionaires and affluent women, she reached the upper echelon of advisors and millionaires. She is the go-to person for affluent women and couples. And she is an international speaker and the author of the 7 Principles for Becoming a Millionaire for Life and 101 Insider Secrets for Marketing to Affluent Women. Without further ado, we're going to jump right into Annette's webinar. Go for it, Annette.
All right, awesome. So hi, welcome. It's so awesome to have you here. And what I would really like to do is have some engagement. So I've got a couple of really exciting things for you that engage. We've got my book, 101 Insider Secrets. We also have my best-selling book, which is the 7 Principles of Becoming a Millionaire for Life. And we also have the Millionaire Insider mug. So people that engage, respond, let us know what you're thinking, what you're doing, we're going to reward you. So let's dive in, and then we're going to circle back around for some Q&A. And I just want to say that working with Annuities Genius has been awesome. First of all, working with affluent women and being able to help them, a large number of them, annuities are very important because they want that guarantee. They don't want to worry about what's happening economically or politically. So when we started having talks about sharing this, I was so excited. And I just love their technology because one of the things I find with a lot of people that are in the insurance and financial services business is they're not super organized. They don't really know what they have or keeping track of it. And I think their product is just amazing. So I'm really excited to be a part of this and to be able to share a little bit of my insight with all of you. So I take it now. So I think during the presentation, they're going to take me off. And can you just verify, Robert, that I'm off? I like to not be on when I'm training this so that you're focused on the content. Is that fair to say, Robert? And he's not on. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, guys, is just give me 1 minute and I'm going to make sure my video is off. Okay, it is. Okay, so let's dive in. If you did not download the template, let me get back there. Please do so. And that's the wrong thing. It's millionaireseries.com/AWT. So you know what I'm going to do really quickly, and I apologize, but I don't want people going to the wrong one. So I didn't catch that when that was done. I'm just going to do it really quickly because this guide will help you immensely. And we did it just for this event. So there you go. millionaireseries.com/AWT. So I am Annette Bau. I'm founder of millionaireseries.com and the Millionaire Insider channel over on YouTube. Today, we're diving into a condensed version of how to get your share of affluent women and couples. 5 insider secrets to attract, cultivate, and retain more ideal, profitable clients. So I have written several books, several products. That's what I do in my free time. I just want to give you a little bit of insight. You know, I didn't come from money. And when I first started out as a producer, I was struggling. And what I did is the first thing I started doing is I got into the chaser model, focused really on business results, starting to get some momentum. And then I started realizing the power of attracting clients. And so whether you're still in that first mode level of chasing clients or you've evolved to the attracting, meaning where they're coming to you, all stages are good. And what you're going to find when I first started working with women, it was just by chance. But once I got the momentum, it just took off. And they do take a little longer to convert up front. But once you start getting momentum, it is just unbelievable. So I hope regardless of where you are, you get it. And again, I want to thank Annuities Genius for hosting this. It's so awesome that they are concerned enough about their advisors and their agents to really want to help them. So I do have a little disclosure since I am a CFP and I also am an advisor. The materials, forms, and intellectual property, and of course, are copywritten by the millionaireseries.com All information is reserved. Before beginning any plan, you agree to consult with your own team of advisor and review your situation. You agree to hold millionaireseries.com and its affiliates harmless for results achieved or not achieved. And any production of this material is allowed only with written authorization from the millionaireseries.com. Now, I want to just verify that everyone can see my screen and you're seeing full screen. Can you just confirm that with me, Robert, before I start diving in?
Yeah, you'll have to share your screen. It's not up yet.
It's not up. Okay, that's good to know. So let me go back and share my screen. And where do I do that at? Share my screen. Okay, good to know. Okay, we're going to go to, which one are we going to do? We're going to do the, not that one. Not giving me the option of, hold on 1 second. I don't want this to be, let me just see if I can pop this over there. Okay, now let me see what happens. Oh, it's going to take that away. I don't want to do that. Give me 1 minute because now we have that on the wrong screen. I don't know. Okay, let's just go here and see if this works. Okay, let's see if this works. Now, do you see full screen? Robert, are you seeing full screen?
It's just your name still. Your screen share hasn't started yet.
Okay, well, I just clicked it, so let's see if it's delayed. Oh, there, okay, gotta click it again. All right. Okay,
there you go. That's a Zoom screen, but we're there.
Okay, we're there. Okay, all right, I just want you to see it because people get, all right, so please turn off all distractions. I'm gonna teach this like I do my mastermind. The first thing you got to understand is that our brains can only focus on one thing at a time. And I know we're not taught that. We all think we can be multitaskers. The reality is we can't. So we only have a short period of time together. Just commit to being engaged and to not multitasking. And hopefully in the chat, you can share, that you're not going to multitask so that we can really make sure that you learn what you need to learn. So we're going to do a quick assessment of where you are and why you're here. And you can answer this in the chat section. And then Robert, you can let me know what people share, but just put the number that applies to you. 1, you want more ideal, profitable leads in your funnel. 2, you're not making enough money. 3, you need more profitable clients. 4, you don't know what to do or how to do it. All right, this is great. So I do now have the chat. See, I do have chat here, I think. Okay, so you don't know what to do for or how to do it, and you're ready to learn the inside scoop on what you need to do to make your goals a reality. 5, you want your share of the female market. After all, they control the majority of wealth. And 6, all the above. So let me know where you are. And okay, so we've got a 3, a 1, a 6. Let's see. Oh, 6. All right, more profitable clients, a 6. Okay, so they're coming in. So great. That's what I want to see. I want to see engagement. I want to see you guys applying this. All right, so let's talk about the basics. Why would you want to work with affluent clients? So a recap, we have 3 levels of our why. Level 1 is all about me. My house, my car, all about me. And it's important, but it only takes us so far. Level
Annette,
2
I hate
is about—
to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The PowerPoint still isn't showing. We've got your Zoom screen on the video.
Oh, okay.
If you go back to share screen, it should give you an option if your PowerPoint is open to choose that.
Well, so I don't want to share it. So there's 2 different ones. So let's see if I share. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do this now. How's that?
There you go. All right, okay. We got it.
All right. Okay, so level 2 is all about me and my family, my business. Very important, but only takes us so far. Level 3 is where we become unstoppable. And that's where I want you to get. When you become unstoppable, you continue to work when you don't have to. It's so critical. And then you got to understand the numbers. If you have one client that generates $1,000, then it requires 10 clients to generate 10,000. One client generating 10,000 a year is not 10 times the work. It maybe is 1.5 to 2, but it's not even close what it entails if you are outselling on the low end. And ideally what you want to do is you want to attract clients where you make 10,000 every year, because then you can really service them and really meet them where they are. So I'm going to share with you an overview of the affluent women's market. Some of you will resonate with it. If you have to leave early, I'm going to give you a link. What we're going to allow you to do, for some of you that want to take the next step, is you can have a discovery session. You can go to pma360.com/DS. The reason we're offering a session is because if we don't offer anything, people send email after email after email, and it's a nightmare. Typically our discovery sessions, we charge $397. We've discounted that to $197. If you do access another resource, we apply 100% towards that. So if you want more insight, take down this link and then we'll dive into the training. So the opportunity, in my opinion, I've been working in this market now for over 30 years, and there has never been a bigger opportunity. In fact, I just got off the call before I started this one with an advisor who, she said, it's just unbelievable. First of all, when I met her, she started in our community last February, and she was struggling. And I did not think she was ready for this market. I thought she should be in more of the business basics. And she was adamant. And I said, well, let's see what happens. Well, in 6 months, she increased her revenue by 31%. And I don't have the final numbers of how she finished the year, but I just spoke with her yesterday. She goes, it's just unbelievable. I'm getting another $2 million account. And I said, what shifted? And I interviewed her previously, but she said, it's my worth barometer. It's my confidence. Now, we're not going to dive into worth barometer or foundation a lot today, but the one thing I will say, 98.7% of our results, and I'm going to show you in a minute, just to give you an example of people who have phenomenal results, spend an equal amount of time on their inner game, their foundation, their worth barometer, which is their beliefs and self-esteem, as they do their outer game, their execution. So just be aware of that. But right now, the reason there's such a huge opportunity is because most advisors don't know what to do. It's almost like they're going, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should call my clients. I don't know what I should do. They don't know what to say. And the interesting thing is that when a husband dies, 68 to 98% of women within a 3-year period will fire their advisor. And our research shows that it's 90%. Why is that? It's because they don't feel like he was her advisor. They feel like it was the husband's advisor. The bottom line is there is more opportunity now than ever. I mean, we are seeing multi-million-dollar shifts in clients. In fact, I think it's one of the biggest opportunities ever. A couple of years ago, people saying, oh, every affluent client already has an advisor. So I took it upon myself to do on-the-ground research. I travel a lot. I'm in Florida, I'm in California, I'm in Canada, I'm all over. And my point was to talk to affluent women and to find out. And what I found out is that there is a bigger need now for good advice than there has ever been in history. So don't think all the affluent clients are taken, they're not. And that's huge. Okay, so I want to share with you, before we dive into the content, these are results. And this is what's fascinating. Over probably 98% of our results are from people who have taken this course, what I'm giving you a mini course of, and implemented it. Anywhere from 10% up to a 775% increase in revenue. All of these, 15, 22, 25, 27, 31, 32, 37, 40, 52, 92, 100, 167, 223. You can't make these up. It's unbelievable. Best deal ever, biggest quarter ever. First $100,000 month, we've had over 7 producers that have hit that. Biggest deal, increase in assets under management up to 80 million. In fact, I don't even have this on here, but one of our advisors increased his AUM last year, 20 million. It's just amazing what happens when you get clear, you get focused, and you start executing. And I wanted to share this with you because first of all, I'm bragging on my community, but I want you to understand the power of applying what I'm teaching you. All right, so the first thing you got to do is you got to choose your ideal client. So we've got traditional homemakers and wives on one side. We've got combination, which is a blend of the two. And then we've got non-traditional, which are business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals. And then you've got a blended combination traditional and a blended combination non-traditional. So there are 5 types, and how you work with them is going to dictate which one you're going to be best serving. Meaning, homemakers and wives aren't going to be knowing about alpha or beta or really caring about it, whereas business owners oftentimes know more than you. So when it comes to non-traditional women, you've got to leave your ego at the door. You should always leave your ego at the door, but especially with non-traditional women. They'll golf better than you, they'll ski better than you, they know more than you. Whereas traditional are much more, they don't want to deal with the details. So you got to make sure you know who you're marketing to, because how you market and how you speak to them and where you find them is going to be very different. And this is the biggest challenge I see with everything that's out there on, every expert about teaching you about women, they don't even know the basics, that there are so many different types. How you attract them is very different. All right, you got to identify your best match. Which best describes you? So again, we're just in the chat. You can go. Number 1, I love chatting with my clients, and I often do. 2, I enjoy clients, but I am busy, and I know I have to balance my engagement with getting business done. 3, can we just get to the bottom line? In fact, you would be the person that's like, where are they? What's going on? I've got things to do. That's 3. 4, you don't really want to hear about your clients or their drama or their grandchildren or their animals or their challenges. You just want to cash in on the opportunity. So really quickly, where are you? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not a right or a wrong, but this is going to dictate who you should serve. All right, 3, 4. Just be honest. We got to see it where it is. Give it a few minutes. The sooner you share, the sooner we'll dive in. 3. Okay. Now, the first woman's a 1. This is funny. All the men are 3 and 4. David's a 1. Okay. 2. Couple more. A 1. Okay. So let's dive in as they're coming in. Looks like another 2. Okay. So who would you best be suited to serve? You love chatting with clients. Traditional women, homemakers, wives, mothers. The challenge you've got to understand is boundaries. You got to stick to an agenda, and you've got to focus on building the relationship, which you're really good at. But what you got to understand is that you also have to learn how to close. Most people that are a 1 are typically not making their desired revenue. 2, I enjoy clients, but I'm busy. Traditional or combination or a blended combo traditional. The issue with 2s is the challenge of staying focused and focusing on the end result. And then 2.5, this is where I am, a combination. Our challenge is staying focused on combination women because it's so easy for us to get distracted and lose focus because we can work with any group. And then can we just get to the bottom line? I came to learn. Non-traditional or blended combination non-traditional. Your challenge is relationships, and it's being perceived as focused on money or the bottom line as compared to the relationship. Now, I get it. I've got a lot of driver in me. I've served a lot of driver male clients. I get it. The problem is that when it comes to women, we got to slow it down a little bit. Like how you reacted when there was a little glitch in the beginning tells you if you can work with traditional women, because you're going to have a lot of that. I always like to have experiential situations. I mean, we didn't intentionally do that, but the reality of it is that you got to meet them where they are if you want to be successful. And then 4, I don't want to hear about their life. I just want to make money. Non-traditional or none. The problem with 4s is that, they pick up on that, and oftentimes they won't hire you. Rarely will any client, especially a woman, hire you if she thinks you're just focused on the money, and they're going to fire you if you don't perform. So you got to set clear expectations. You got to understand 4 is probably the most challenging category to be in to be successful with women. All right, where can you find them? There's a lot of places, but charities are really good. Animal charities are huge. Nonprofits like the Heart Foundation, Cancer, Children's Hospital, there are so many, but charities can be really good. And we're going to dive into the attractor strategies, which is step 4, and this shares some more with you. So warm introductions are a great strategy. Educational and feeder workshops, referral partners, relationship marketing is huge. Research, scripts, what to say, when to say, and how to say it. Websites and social media, and then networking. We're going to dive into 3 of those. So these are the best And the reason I didn't include research on the last one is because we're going to dive into it here. But let's talk about relationship marketing. I want to talk about relationship marketing because we have Valentine's Day coming up. I have made millions of dollars from this strategy, as have several of my advisors. And the issue of relationship marketing is just touching them, saying, I'm thinking about you. How can I add value? How are you doing? Simple, and it's not about the business. It's about connecting. But it's amazing how it works when you're focused on helping people and not just the bottom line revenue. So this is the Valentine's Day ping we use. A card, we add some truffles, and this is what I got. Now, the reason I share this is, first of all, she said I could. But this woman was married to one of the most wealthiest men probably in the world. And she said, thank you so much for the truffles. They are delicious. And the presentation was so elegant. Now I feel like I can celebrate Valentine's Day too. That's what happens. And nothing about business, but it's everything about business, if you know what I mean. And what has been the real power of relationship marketing? We've seen between a 30 and 150% increase in revenue just from relationship marketing. Joel B., he decided to work with a very, very narrow group of affluent women. He started doing heartfelt cards. He would send out a weekly email, one heartfelt card a month, and then a month hard copy newsletter. He literally gets more referrals, 1.2, 1.4, 1.8, 3, more referrals than any advisor I've ever seen. That's the power of relationship-ing. All right, research. Research is huge. Now, when it comes to research, there are a few different types of research. You've got one for interviewees. These are people that are in your niche market. So let's say you're going to work with combination women. So you're going to go and you're going to interview any combination woman you can. Now, this is not about prospecting. This is about really finding out information, because the problem is if you start trying to prospect to them, what'll happen is your referral sources are going to dry up. But you want to sit down and find out, what do they like about their current advisor? What are they worried about? What keeps them up at night? Because if you know that's happening with Sally, you know it's happening with all of her other clients. So interviewees are an amazing group to be able to network with. Then clients, new and existing, and then referral partners. Referral partners are either centers of influence or reciprocal referral partners. And what you want to be doing is you want to be spending, I spent a half a day initially on research, and then I upped it to a full day. Relationship marketing, if you just do relationship marketing and research, you will grow your business like you can't imagine. Now you got to get clear serving, and you got to make sure that your research is geared towards them, meaning questions you ask a traditional woman are going to be different than a non-traditional. But TJ, he was literally stuck, 500,000, he was stuck there. Within 4 months, he increased his revenue. Well, it was maybe 6 months, 37% from 500,000 to 750,000, on track to $1 million, 4 new referrals in 1 month. He had been working with different centers of influence literally for 10, 15 years. And he'd always say, yeah, if I think of anyone, I'll let you know. Once he learned how to paint the picture and he learned the power of painting the picture to referrals, things just exploded. All right, so let me ask you a question, and you guys can answer. What would you do differently in your business or your life if you had more ideal, profitable clients lined up wanting to do business with you and you are making your desired revenue? Just tell me what things you'd do differently. Would you buy a different car, buy a different house? Would you buy a second house? What would you do differently? And the reason I want you to get this is because whether you work with affluent women or you continue doing what you're doing, getting clear on what that means, what that looks like, and then what it feels like is literally one of the most important things you can do. So I want to just give you a minute to answer that. What is one thing, a bigger house for sure? Okay, let's talk about a bigger house. Not a good idea. Okay, vacation home in the mountains. All right, invest in retirement, more trips with my family, expand my press. Yeah, those vacation home in the mountains. The problem with having vacation homes is then you have to go there. So it's so funny. I just have to laugh because, when you don't have money, you just can't wait to get it. And then once you do have money, we're fortunate enough to have a vacation home in the mountains and the beach home And, it's always a fight of where we're going to leave our main house. And it's just funny because I think, God, 30 or 40 years ago, I would have died to have that opportunity. And now it's like, I'm so busy, I don't have time to. So it's just interesting how we always want something we don't have. But now what I want you to do, once you've identified this, do more for others. I love it. So of course you were a 1, Tanya. I mean, that's so classic and that's good. And as long as you can learn how to close, you'll do great. But what I want you to now identify is what's that feeling you're going to get? Is it feeling peace of mind? Is it feeling joy? Because when you can align your head and your heart, that's when you're on the right track. So what to say to your ideal client? So that's the last module we're going to go over. But before we do it, who's ready to take their business and life to the next level? Like who's really committed? Like you're going to do the work to get the results you want. So you can have that vacation home. So you can have that bigger house. So you can invest in your retirement. Who is really ready? Because it's one thing to want it. You've got to, all right, so I'm seeing I am. All right, I'm going to give a couple more. Who is? The funny thing, my friends, is getting clear on it and being willing to shift. Like let's say you're 3, as far as, buying. And you realize, hey, I'm going to have to shift kind of how I'm showing up to really get this. That's what I'm talking about. And some of you get that, and some of you a year from now are going to go, gosh, I wish I would have gotten that a year ago. So important. So if you want to, please join me for a discovery session, the next step to guide you in creating your best year yet with more ideal applicants wanting to do business with you. Or maybe you just need to stay working in the niche that's not yet affluent. But you can go to pma360.com/DS. And as I mentioned, the normal price is $397. For the next 2 hours, you can get it for $197. pma360.com/DS. And if you're deciding on a new target market, this would be a perfect place to start. So let's dive into the last module, what to say to your ideal client. So let's look at the scripting process. Master what you say. Amateurs practice to get it right. Masters practice until they can't get it wrong. You want to pre-qualify the people. You've got to review your sales process and write out each step of your process. And you got to pre-qualify. You got to be able to include in there questions and insight that you can determine, is this person the right person? You got to have a script for appointment setting, for handling objections, for telling stories, for staying in the conversation, bridging the gap, and referrals and closing. Now, I know that sounds really remote or really like almost like, staged. When you're really good at it, it's going to just flow. But you got to know what you're doing before. And especially for some of you that are a 4 or a 1, it's really important because you got to be engaged and you got to be connecting. You got to be determining where she's at. Right now, if you are a 1 or a 2, if you're a 1 and you can get over the over talking and the just kind of like nervousness about asking for the meeting or the close, ideally right now is a perfect time, because right now this is what women need. Their advisor has gone to sleep at the wheel, or the advisor doesn't want to deal with it, or doesn't want to hear her complaining about politics, or she doesn't want to hear her worrying about the economy. It is a perfect time to gain massive market share. You then type out each script and then practice it. As I said, amateurs practice to get it right. Masters practice until they can't get it wrong. And then you want to edit and practice it. We have been improving our master script for over 20 years. It's 26 pages long. The key on it, you got to be patient and you got to ask questions in different ways. All right, so for some of you that are going to access a discovery session, I'm going to give you a bonus. You're going to get the Affluent Client Connector Close formula. So I'm going to walk you through from where you start to where you finish. So a little bit of an extra bonus. Now, I want to thank you so much for attending. We're now going to open up for questions. I'm going to go over a couple of questions we got, and then if you have questions, just go ahead and type them in the box, and we'll get to as many as we can. So are affluent women the right niche for me? That's the $1 million question. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. My gal, that's what he wanted to know. And he did not choose to work with affluent women, but he created his plan and his strategy. He increased his referrals the first year by 1,025%. He wanted to increase it by 1,000. And I'm the one that says, throw out those realistic goals. Like any of you that are setting realistic goals, the first thing I teach you when I start working with you is you've got to get rid of realistic goals. Realistic goals keep us stuck. In fact, I always say, show me a multimillionaire that has realistic goals. They don't, because they keep us stuck. But I said, 1,000, that's a lot, 1,000%. And so he did it. And then I said, no one will ever beat that. Because interesting enough, Mike Ann had the record at 400% for like 7 years. The next year he beat it by achieving 1,220%, increased his revenue by 20% and then 40%. Now, Oscar is our last year rock star. He wasn't clear on his niche market and he began considering women, conducted research. He and I had a conversation because he's pretty conservative and he was going to go with a group that was pretty liberal. And I said, God, I just don't know how that's going to work. So he shifted his market, increased his revenue last year by 72%. That's what happens when you get clear. I don't have a plan. Well, Michelle D didn't have a plan. She was struggling. She didn't think she'd make it. She took the time to create a plan and get clear on her niche market and worked on her inner game, no support from her manager, increased her revenue by 775%, was selected as an advisor for her company benefits. Is this only for wealth management advisors? No, it's for, interestingly enough, Mike and a lot of our advisors are fixed income people, either insurance or some fixed product, Medicare. But this is the key. When it comes to working with women, now you may not be set for working with women, but if you want to work with affluent clients, you just got to team up with somebody that can help them on the other side. But if you're not, and you say, yeah, I want to grow my business, but I don't know if this is right, then get a discovery session. That's what it's for. It's the reason we do discovery sessions isn't because I don't have anything to do with my time. It's because what we find is when a person says, oh yeah, I want to work with affluent clients, and it turns out it's not the best niche, that's what we determine in there. Where should you go? What should you do to get results? I'm overwhelmed and don't know where to start. So let's talk about L&M. She didn't know what to do. She signed up and then she started having these thoughts. Oh, it's not going to work. I mean, it was bizarre. It was like she was so freaked out, and she and I had a call and I said, you haven't even done anything. I mean, before you get freaked out, this isn't going to work. Why don't you just try applying it? Well, for the first year, she decided to just listen to our mastermind calls. She increased her revenue by 50%. The following year, she actually engaged and created a plan, increased her revenue by 167%. That's what happens, my friends. You can't make this stuff up. How will I determine who I should serve and how to attract them? So this is for you, Sam. This is perfect for you. So Mike Ann, he's a safe money, fixed income guy. He doesn't do any investments. He had been an 18-year top producer and he hit a wall. You know, he's using that old world sales model. He had no inner game, no strategy, no plan. He was using that old world cold lead generation strategy, which just doesn't work anymore. He created a plan, followed the step-by-step research process. In 3 months, he had his best income month in his entire career, up 50%, then 80%, and then he increased his referrals by 400%. Now, 8 years later, every year has been a record year for him. That is what happens. So let's open for a few questions. So pma360.com/DS if you want to have a discovery session. And the reason we charge for this, let me explain why we charge for this. If we didn't charge for this, every single person would sign up. We want to make sure we have people who are really serious, and we want to have people who are really ready to take their business to the next level. And if that's not you, head on over, connect with us over on YouTube. You can head over to millionaireseries.com/AWT and access the Affluent Women's template. You can, start getting on our different weekly updates. So there's different options for you if you're not ready. But if you're ready and you say, yeah, I want it to be me, yeah, come on and join us. So are there any questions? All right, let's see. Okay, we got an email question. So if you're, okay, so the question is, we got this via email. My assistant just gave this to me. So if you're new and you don't have, I'm going to actually go, why don't you make me live if you could, Robert, or do I need to set my video? For some reason, I don't know why I don't have, there we go. All right, so let's dive into this. All right, so the question, everyone see me? Hi. So the question is, if you're brand new, you're starting out, I think this is a perfect time because you can get really clear on who you want to serve. See, the problem with most people is what they do is they just start trying to work with anyone. Now, when you're in the chaser model, when you're in that first level where you're still out chasing clients, It's normal to work with anyone. But the goal is the only goal of that first level of the chaser model, it's where we dive into business results, fast track, where we get you on the fast track to getting results, is so you can get to the second level. Because the second level is where you start attracting people, where they come to you, just like my client yesterday. She's like, this is unbelievable. She got the first lead through social media. I love LinkedIn. I love some of the different platforms. She used that strategy. And then what happened was she got a referral from that client to somebody that's 2 million. Another one of my clients down in Florida last week, he goes, yeah, I just got another $4 million account. That's what happens. Now, some of you aren't yet at that stage. You still have to be out generating momentum, getting business. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But what we want is we want to get you to where you can get to that second stage. That second stage is where you're going to be able to really start attracting people and really start gaining some momentum. So the reality of what happens is we all have to start somewhere, right? I mean, we all start in that chaser model. It's very rare that anyone would start in the attractor model. But the only goal in that chaser model is to get the momentum so you can start attracting your ideal client. And this is what I find, this is what's so fascinating, is that there are so many people who are in that chaser model and they never get out of it. And that's where you got to really say, am I going to do something differently? Because if you're willing to do something differently, you can have unbelievable results. You just have to be willing to do the things that other people won't. And a large part of it is your foundation, your worth barometer. When I said to her, what was the big thing that really changed for you? When I talked to her in February, I said, you're not ready for working with affluent clients. And she was so persistent. I told her, go do this, all this work, and when you're done, come back. Because 9 times out of 10, they won't do it. She had it done over the weekend. I'm like, this woman is going somewhere. And it's so impressive. And now here, a year later, she's like becoming a rock star. But she wasn't in that attractor model initially. She was in the chaser model. We all start there. The key is we want to get you out of that chaser model and into the attractor model. And if you get it, then you're going to love what we're talking about. And if you're not ready for it, then, we've got a ton of free resources, but that's the power of it. All right. Any other questions? You can just ask them down in chat. Now's the time. Now's the time. I know people always email us. You're not going to get your question answered in the email because we just don't have time, but go ahead and ask a couple questions and we'll go from there. Well, let's talk for 1 minute about something that's very applicable. Annuities and affluent women. So affluent women, again, depends on the type of affluent women, but there are segments of the affluent women population that love annuities. And I personally love annuities when it's appropriate. And with affluent women, it's so appropriate. Now, some of you that say, yeah, I want to sell more annuities. I'm going to tell you a little story. So when I started out, I'm like, this business is so hard. I wanted to get out. And one of my mentors said, Annette, just got to make one commitment. And I go, okay, I'll make any commitment if I can get out. You got to get to 100,000. So I said, okay, I will commit to getting to 100,000 and then I get to quit. I just wanted to just get out. Well, what ends up happening is your focus completely shifts. Once you make that commitment to getting to whatever your number is, whether it's 100, whether it's 250, or whether it's $1 million, everything changes. And now my entire focus was on getting to 100,000. Well, all of a sudden then it's like, you're getting this momentum, you get to 100,000, you're like, okay, now I'm going to get to $1 million. I mean, it's just amazing what happens. But anyway, I was reading an article from this gentleman who was making $300,000 a year just from his sales of his annuities. And I'm like, I've got to figure out what he's doing. So I started calling him. I must have called him maybe 16 times. He finally called me back. He goes, would you stop calling me? I go, no, not until you answer a few questions. He goes, what do you want? And I go, I want to know how you are so successful. And he said, you got to meet clients where they are. You can't be out selling. You've got to be out, advising, and then you sell. And I was like, God, it just changed everything in my whole model. And that's what our entire mastermind is based on, is really meeting clients where they are, really learning what you need to learn. Some of the biggest deals I've closed on insurance, and I've closed deals up to 7 figures in my pocket on insurance. It's so much about that fact finder. It's so much about finding out everything you can about them, because if you learn what the objections are, you learn what the mindset is, you learn where they are as a couple, you learn where she is from her perspective on different things, you will never, ever have a problem closing. The problem with most people is that they're using that old world model where it's so obvious and it's, it's like not really learning where she is or stuff about her, but getting her to do what you want her to do. Oh, let me know how that turns out. Or even affluent clients, it just doesn't work. And especially doesn't work effectively. Now, there's no doubt you can make sales, you just will never reach your potential. So that's something that's really, really important. All right, a couple questions came in. Well, what I recommend you do if you're in the chaser model is you get on a discovery session. That would be the best thing, because what you got to do is you've got to start learning the fundamentals in that stage to get to the next level. And it's a lot about activity. It's a lot about who you're focused on. And it's not saying that you can't work with women in that group, but you're not going to be really working with affluent women. You're going to be working with more, women that don't have a ton of money. But what your goal is to get the momentum to where you've got the money so that you're not feeling like you have to close all the time. Because the problem with that is they pick up on that. So the best place to start, you can go to pma360.com/DS. That would be the best place to start if you're ready to get out of the chaser model and do the heavy lifting. Because the reality of it is that unfortunately, if you're ready to do something great, if you're not, then keep doing what you're doing. It's the same thing when you're working with a client. What I used to always say when I say to my advisors, if you meet somebody, they're not ready to do something, they want to continue doing what they're doing and expect different results, that's insanity. So what I always like to say when if you're dealing with a client and they're not doing what, they need to do, that they should do, saving, diversifying their money, it's like, keep doing what you're doing. If you find in a year from now it's not working, circle back around. It's as simple as that. But see, we make it so much more complicated. And the reality of it is sometimes people aren't ready to do it. And what I find is sometimes people, they wait until they're in a dire situation, whether it's an advisor or a client. That's never optimal. Ideally, you want to do something before you have to do it. Now, this pandemic has been awesome. In fact, we've just added a level. So we've talked about the chaser model, we've talked about the attractor model, and then I've got a select group of advisors that I've handpicked that are going to become certified to teach some of my materials. And we are going to actually have a website, podcast. I mean, it's just really exciting. It's something I wanted to do for a long time, and I couldn't figure out how to do it because I don't have the time to do all of it. So I'm doing it with some advisors, and those advisors then are going to be able to serve clients, are going to be able to get their word out. Because what I find a lot of times with really good advisors is they're really bad marketers. And what I a lot of times find with people that aren't really good as far as advisors, they're great marketers. So ideally, we want to blend the two. We've got to have both, right? We've got to be good at marketing and selling, and we've got to be really good as far as advising people. That's how you get clients for life. And that's how you make the recurring revenue. Now, I know some of you are selling a product, that's fine. You just got to make sure that you're meeting that person, ideally a couple, meaning ideally you want to meet her when she's still married. That's a much more opportune time than when she's single, especially if it's a widowed woman. With divorce, it depends. But you got to be really clear on that because that's going to have such a dramatic impact on your revenue and on how successful you are. All right, any other questions? All right, well, you guys, is there anything else you want to ask? David? Or I mean, not David, I see David up here, it's Robert. Robert's here. In fact, Robert has been so awesome to work with. A huge shout out to Annuities Genius. I love what you're doing. I'm so glad we were able to connect. I know it took a few months, but hey, we're here. And I just, I hope everyone's year is off to such an amazing start. We had a record year last year. We did, our advisors did, and we are off. We're going to have another record year this year. It's just amazing the opportunities that are out there. And I hope you guys are tapping into them because it's really exciting. Now more than ever, people need really good advisors. All right, anything else? Well, I'm glad you love my energy. I will tell you, it's funny because people say, why aren't you an advisor? And it's because I live between 3 homes. I can't be an advisor. It doesn't work very well. But now it does, now with the pandemic. But, I'm supposed to be retired. I've been doing this for a long time. And my husband's not really on the boat of continuing to work, but I love what I do. And now that I'm going to be able to serve women and their partners, and I'm going to also be able to serve advisors, it's the best of both worlds. And I can pretty much work from wherever I want to work from. And that's the power of it. So it's awesome. And I just hope you get there because, when I started out, I started out small town girl from South Dakota. I had no money. I look back and it's just hard to even believe where I started from. Like I can remember saving $25 a month thinking, oh my God, I just wanted a different house. I just want a different car. And now I just want simple. I'm like, we need a smaller house. We don't need all this real estate. We don't need all this complicated life. It's just funny how it circles back around. But anyway, I'm glad you like my energy. Now we just got to get you some. All right, anything else? All right, I'll look forward to seeing you guys, some of you guys on a discovery session. And so, yeah, go take advantage of this. Now, this will be up for a little while and then it's going to go away. So this isn't something like you can say, okay, I want to do it in 3 months. We do these for these like one-offs. I can't do this all the time. I just did this because when I do a group like this and you're not familiar with me, I don't know where you are, it's much better to have you start with a discovery session to learn what you need to do than it is for me to start, for you to just start in a program and say, this really wasn't optimal for you. All right, do you have any other questions, Robert?
No, I think we're all set. I just want to let everyone know that the link will be available in any of our event listings, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you found our event. The link will be available there for the discovery session. And we'll also have a recorded version of this webinar available on YouTube and through our Annuities Genius platform for all of our subscribers. So that's about it.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, it's so great to connect with you and I'll look forward to connecting with you guys. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you, Annette.
Bye. Thank you.